Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Taeyong Kim from Samsung, and I'm here to talk about VR at Samsung. So there are a lot of topics related to VR. So I'll give a few items here. So I'll talk about briefly what we have done with Gear VR so far and what's our next steps for that. And I'm going to also talk about 360 cameras and the whole 360 content ecosystem around it. And I'll briefly touch upon Samsung's effort in software and service area. And there are a lot of other VR sessions at SDC, so I'm going to give a quick presso on those sessions as well. So first on Gear VR. So since we introduced Gear VR to the world about 3 years ago, many people have tried the VR experience, the immersive VR experience for the first time. And we heard a lot of good stories about how VR is changing people's lives. You can do a lot of cool things with VR. You can watch immersive 360 video. You can watch your favorite movies in virtual theater. And you can connect with people in virtual space. And also, you can fight zombies in a game. And you can watch sports and music events. And there are numerous things you can do with VR. So far, several millions of our Galaxy smartphone users have enjoyed immersive VR experiences provided by Gear VR. So I'm very excited that the ecosystem for VR is growing. So people can do, like I said before, a lot of things. You can connect with people, use it for entertainment, and you can even use it for tool to create a new art. And we still keep finding new applications of VR as apps showing up every day in the store. So at this point, we have more than 1,000 apps available for Gear VR. And we are very excited to see the ecosystem growing very rapidly for the Gear VR right now. So since we introduced our first Gear VR in 2014, many amazing things have happened. VR is really changing the way people are experiencing the reality, and also we believe VR is actually changing people's lives in many ways. So I'd like to introduce a very amazing project a team at Samsung created. So it's called Illumina. So briefly, this is a visual aid application for people with low vision. So what this team did is they used Gear VR along with the smartphone and wrote this app. And you get the images from the smartphone camera to the Gear VR lenses. And their app enhanced the vision. Their app's designed to apply some set of filters so that visually impaired people can see the world more clearly. So I think it's really amazing. And without this, the conventional visual aid device costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So we hope with this Illumina app, we can help a lot of visually impaired people to see the world more clearly. So the Illumina team is at the SDC. So they have their own booth just right outside on the exhibition floor. So please check them out and try it yourself. And the app launched for free in August on the Oculus Store, so you can try it out for yourself as well. So I'm going to talk about a little bit technical stuff now. So creating this immersive VR experience takes a lot of technologies. So over the past few years, while we are working on Gear VR, we learned a lot about what makes a great VR system. So this requires innovations in things like display, optics, sensor, sound, and also innovations in design so the users can use it very comfortably. So let me get into a little bit more details now. So first, you need a good display. So what does that mean? So for VR, we need high-resolution display to begin with. And also, we want the display to produce very vivid color, like as in the AMOLED display we use for our smartphones. And also, combined with the lenses, we want it to deliver very wide field of view. And because we applied optics, it could cause some distortion or chromatic aberration. So we need techniques to fix them as well. So to present immersive experience in 360 degree, we need very good sensor technology as well. So what that means is, if I'm wearing the VR device and turn my head like this, the sensor needs to be able to catch up with that speed. So we use dedicated sensor in Gear VR, which samples this motion at very high frequency rate. This results in precise and smooth 360 VR experience for Gear VR. And also, the 3D spatial sound technology adds to the immersion a lot. So one of the biggest problems with VR, people feel sick, motion sickness. So there are a lot of things we need to do to minimize the motion sickness. And one of the important technologies, again, the display. So the display needs to have low persistence. So what does that mean? So if you look at the conventional display, it doesn't shoot the light always. It turns on and turns off, and then move to the next frame and turns on and off. So the time between this display turning on and off within a frame, we usually refer to it as persistence. So high persistence means the light turns on for a longer period of time, and low persistence means shorter period of time. So the AMOLED display is optimized for VR in that sense because it provides a low persistence display. So as you can see in this comparison image, if you don't have low persistence, things can look blurry because you see an image here, and then you move to here, and then the after effect from the previous frame can be actually overlapping to your visual system. So that results in kind of blurred image when you're moving really fast with the conventional display. So there's an important measure that VR people use called MTP. In other words, motion to photon, which means time from sensor to the final display. And the absolute number may vary, but people usually say you need to be under 20 milliseconds to deliver that. To do that, we also need a very powerful processor to render the scene at very high frame rate. And also, we need a lot of techniques to combine sensors so that we can have minimized motion blur and no juddering in the VR experience. On the design department, to allow people to use VR for a longer period of time, we want the perceived weight felt by the user to be as small as possible. And then the VR device needs to fit to various face shapes and also in very comfortable way. So this needs a lot of innovation in the design as well. So the new Gear VR with controller we introduced along with the S8 provide a more natural and advanced play experience by allowing people to more naturally interact with the environment with the controllers.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Do you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
This is awesome.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
That's cool. It's just staying there.
Let's do karaoke.
My baby, don't stop changing my world.
Wow.
So we believe providing natural interaction in VR is really important. And I'm glad that there are now more than 150 apps available for the controllers, and much more contents are yet to come. So at Samsung, we try hard to create meaningful innovations for our developers and consumers and deliver incredible experience. So this applies to any product we make at Samsung, and this equally applies to the VR. So to deliver truly immersive experience anticipated in VR, there are many technical innovations we need to make. So we think this is a step-by-step process. So we need to tackle a lot of technologies. So one step forward could be, for example, we want our motion to be fully tracked in VR. And also, we want the VR experience to be fully unobstructed, meaning when you're moving, you don't want to be obstructed by anything. And we also think the sense of touch is important as well. So we may be still many years away from the full holodeck experience, but I think we are making progresses. So the current mobile VR system, people usually call it 3DOF. So what does that mean? So DOF, it means degrees of freedom. And when you say 3DOF, it usually means rotational degree of freedom. So you can rotate your head, you can rotate your controller, but that's only 3. So it's best, for this experience, it's best to be in a seated environment and looking around, and then use the head tracking only. So we already delivered great VR experience just with it, but it limits people in the ability to move around in the virtual space. So adding 3 more degrees of freedom in position tracking, so 3 by 3, now we have 6 DOF. So 3 for rotations and 3 for positions. So when you add positional tracking and make a full 6 DOF VR system, now users can freely move around in space and also use their both hands to do a lot of interactions in VR so that contents would respond in the most natural way. It also can result in more intuitive user experience design so that in the end, the motion sickness could be also reduced. So the Samsung HMD Odyssey headset that we recently announced in partnership with Microsoft delivers what's called inside-out position tracking. So sorry about a lot of technical terms. So I'm going to explain what this means. So when we talk about position tracking, there are usually 2 types, outside in versus inside out. So the tracking system looks at you if you use external tracking system, like in the first generation of the VR system, that's outside in. And inside out position tracking means your headset or something attached to you is looking out from inside out for the purpose of position tracking. So what's the value of this? So it doesn't require any extra external tracking sensor system. So the setting it up and using it is much easier. You just get the headset and plug that into PC, and you're ready to go. So it provides position tracking for both headset and motion controller for 6 DOF. And it's pretty easy to jumpstart just by connecting it to PC. So additionally, we also use our AMOLED display to deliver vivid colors and fast response. And it also has pretty wide 110-degree field of view. Along with the 360 spatial sound system tuned by AKG, we believe this headset delivers best-in-class experience for Windows PC users. So we are excited to see this Windows mixed reality headset coming to our consumers' hand next month. So I talked about 2 VR devices, talked about Gear VR, and talked about the HMD Odyssey just released. So we believe these are 2 great examples of how we are moving forward to get closer to our vision in VR. Gear VR delivered, and I think it's actually democratized use of virtual reality for many, many people. So the reason is it's fully mobile, and it quickly attaches to smartphone, and it's very affordable, so that millions of people got their first experience in VR using Gear VR, and we are very proud of it. On the other hand, the HMD Odyssey headset provides a premium experience coming from the positional tracking of the headset and controllers and the power or computing power of the PC. So the question is, how do we combine the benefits of those two technologies together for our next VR system? So that's the question we're asking at this point. So we think the next mobile VR system would have inside-out position tracking capability along with 6-step motion controllers. So imagine what you can do with a system where you can track your motion and also along with both your hand in full 6-step tracking capability and also use it wherever you are with its full mobility. So we are actively working on it. We are working hard to bring this technology to our next mobile VR headset. And bringing 6-step tracking technology to mobile is not an easy problem. It's actually a big technical hurdle. So we are partnering with the global partners like Intel to bring inside-out technology to our next mobile product portfolio. So we are very excited to be engaging with our partners to shape the future of virtual reality together. So on this front, we'll be able to give you more details in the near future. So please stay tuned. So I'm going to move to the next topic. So I'm going to talk about 360 content ecosystem. And I'll first explain what that means. So if you have watched 360 video, there are creators and there are consumers who watch the video, and there are a whole lot of other technologies and systems sitting between those. So to begin with, creators, they use some sort of 360 camera to capture the world around them, and they create a story out of it, and they edit it. And when it's ready for viewing, they upload it to a video platform like Samsung VR to distribute the contents for viewing by either Gear VR or mobile handset with some interactive controls. So the entire 360 video ecosystem has been growing also at very rapid pace. And so far, our users have watched millions and millions of 360 videos in the Gear VR headset. So I'd like to introduce some example 360 video that was very, very exciting. So over the last summer, we provided live events about some of the most exciting sports and music events in partnership with the UFC and ESPN and Live Nation to deliver amazing VR live experience. So let me show some video here. So with VR, you can watch the knockout happening in the octagon ring of the UFC right in front of you, as if you are like sitting right next to it. And also you can feel and see the X Games skater like flying over you. And you can watch the music concert as if you are one of the band members. So here is another video from the Coldplay event we recently did in partnership with Live Nation in August. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Coldplay event. So when we announced this live stream event, we got a lot of exciting feedback from our users. And we saw a big jump in the VR usage on the day. And after watching the event, they posted a lot of feedback on Twitters and other channels. And I picked some of the examples about what our users had to say. So one user says, used my VR for the first time, and the Coldplay tour was absolutely insane. How close the sound and everything made me so happy. And another user say, just been to a Coldplay VR gig, and incredible stuff from the comfort of my own living room. So I think this is actually a very important point about VR. So you can watch any exciting events wherever they are, but not ever leaving your living room. So that's, I think, there's a promise in VR of delivering, new, exciting experience to you. And if you missed this Coldplay event, you still have second chance. The entire Coldplay concert VOD is still available in Samsung VR if you go to the Gear VR. So try it for yourself. It's pretty amazing. So we think more live events are coming to VR. And so the question is, what does it take to deliver exciting live events to people like every day? We want more contents for VR, and the live streaming event could be one of the really cool contents. So typically, this type of live events requires skill sets and efforts by professional minds. And also it requires professional cameras with things like real-time stitching, low latency network, and high-quality video and audio, and list is really long. So I'm going to talk about 360 cameras now. So in the past SDC event, we showcased our professional 360 camera. And this camera not only captures the video in full 360, but also in full stereo. So now the camera got its official name. It's now called Samsung 360 Round. So this camera produces 4K 360 video capture, and also it's able to live stream in full stereo with full 3D audio capture. The camera will be available in the United States this month, along with the global release plan for later time. So you'll be able to find this camera around the SDC. So there's a virtual reality demo zone on the third floor. There's one, but there are actually more. So when you're walking around here, check out this new Samsung 360 Round camera yourself. So technical specs, I'm going to read it really fast. It's got 17 camera lenses, and has basically an 8 stereo pair and another one on the top. And in a very compact unibody design, and it produces 4K 3D and low latency live streaming capability, real-time preview with the help of a one-step stitching box. And it also provides various editing functions. And also it's the first 360 camera with the IP65 grade water and dust resistance. So it's great to use in very tough outdoor environment. And, and it's got more things. So the demo's available on the third floor. So if you are curious about more details about the camera, come to the demo zone and talk to the staff there. So another camera for average consumer like me, or maybe you, we introduced the Gear 360 camera. And the new Gear 360 camera we introduced this year produces full 4K 360 video. And it also has additional capability of doing social live streaming, so that you can capture what's happening around you and share it to your friends through services like Samsung VR, YouTube, and Facebook, and so on. And it's compatible with the much wider smartphones. And also, we provide tools like Gear 360 Manager app on the mobile side, and the action director on the PC side for ease of VR content creation. So Gears 360 team is working hard to add more features. So upcoming feature list for the end of this year is easy photo sharing via Samsung Cloud, hybrid video stabilization, and HVC codec for more smartphones. So if you're a developer who wants to directly control this camera, we have a good news for you. So at this SDC, we are announcing Gears 360 Camera SDK that allows you to directly control Gears 360 camera from your own app. So what the SDK allows you to do is you can write your own app and then have it connect to the camera, change the camera setting, and start preview, take a photo, or start live broadcast, all using this SDK. So today, in Disrupted Theater, which is like over there in the diagonally opposite side of this room, there's a session about Gears 360 SDK. And also, if you just go outside of this room, there's a stream code.11 session about Gears 360 Camera SDK as well. So learn yourself. So Samsung VR Service is 360 video platform we created along with the Gear VR launch about 3 years ago that delivers premium contents to our users and also services for our creators. So we are partnering with many, many premier content partners like New York Times and Warner Brothers and many, many partners. And the contents from these partners and also our users can be experienced with our Gear VR app. And we also provide the mobile app so that you can quickly look at the 360 contents with inactive control. And also, if you have any web browser that supports the 360 contents, you can also use SamsungVR.com to take a look at what you're offering in 360 contents. So soon, we'll be adding a lot of features to the creator portal side of the Samsung VR, including upload, storing, editing, publishing, analyzing your contents, along with some cool features like stabilization. So Samsung VR Creator Portal will have what we call cloud storage. So the users can first upload their content just for storage privately so that they can use these contents to edit and merge before they publish to others. And along with the cloud editing, you can use your web browser to edit 360 content on the web. And also, on this creator portal, we'll also provide cloud-based stabilization technology. And with the new cloud-based teaching technology, we're going to provide 4K live streaming capability for Gears 360 camera as well. And we partnered with Vertigo, a VR analytics startup, who also has a booth right there. So we're going to provide a lot of analytics about how users consume this content in various ways. So let me give you a little bit examples about this. So this is a snapshot of the creator portal page that we're going to be releasing quite soon. So this page shows what we call heat map. So heat map records where the viewer is oriented while watching 360 video. So the interesting thing about 360 video is I make one video, and maybe here are like 100 people. Everyone have their own choice about where they want to look at it. So some people look at here, some other people look at here. So if you collect all this data, statistically, it produces the heat map. So it's pretty much similar to the temperature map you see in like weather channels. So that's why it's called heat map. And if you look at the heat map, the red color means the most concentrated area in terms of views. So that means a lot of people are watching at that direction. And then the green area means a little bit less, and the no color means it's probably not a lot of people are watching it. So this really gives you information about how your content is attracting people's attention. So you can check it against your original intention of, if you wanted to draw the attention to here and look at the heat map and everyone's kind of distracted over there, and there's something wrong with your storyline or content, so you can reiterate on it. And along with the heat map, we are planning to provide more conventional view metrics like view count, view geography, and also benchmarking against similar contents to your content. So hopefully this video would work. Okay, so this is an exemplary heat map transitioning throughout the video. So this is a Kong VR trailer that's available on Samsung VR. So I don't know if you can see that, but behind the greenish circle, you see the Kong doing like this, right? So originally, people are actually looking here, and because the 360 video is mapped to like full 360 view, you see all the direction. So basically, what this means is originally when this content starts, you are in a helicopter, and then the helicopter is flying over a jungle, and then something hits you, and the helicopter like crashes to the ground, and the heat map shows a moment right after that. So King Kong shows up with some sound, and kind of you rotate your head like this to watch it Kong like that, and then it hits something, and the heat gradually moves like this. So you can see the heat map kind of following the King Kong's motion. So this really gives you information about how people are reacting to your content. So we hope this can help people improve their 360 content going forward. So here's another example of cloud editing. So in the with cloud editing, just using your web browser, you'll be able to edit and do a lot of things like color filtering and adding text and recentering the contents just on the cloud. And the cloud feature also includes things like stabilization on the cloud. So let me give you an example. So the left side video was captured using Gears 360. So the usual problem with the Gears 360 capture is you use a hand, and then people capture things like walking, like this. See this motion? So this is usually okay if you're looking from the flat screen. But if you look at it from VR, can you imagine like seeing this in VR? So it makes you sick. So that's been actually particularly a pain point for us to watch 360 video in VR. So with the stabilization on the right side, you can see a lot of this shaky hand motion is mostly short. So we think tools like that will greatly help our creators to create the better content. So stitching. So you may have heard about what stitching is if you have used the 360 camera. So stitching is compute-intensive operation. So we do stitching on the cloud, on the Samsung VR cloud. So this enables us to support 4K live streaming for Gears 360 camera. So this is just a simple example comparing 2K and 4K. So it's not very clear on this video, but if you look at it from VR, it makes actually a big difference. Okay, so switching gears, I will briefly introduce the Samsung software and service that we created since the introduction of Gear VR. So we have many more efforts, but here are just a few examples. So Samsung Internet VR, which is our VR web browser, and I talked something about Samsung VR already, and the Samsung Gallery VR, which allows you to quickly browse photo and video stored on your phone in much more immersive way. And we are constantly adding new apps like Samsung PhoneCast VR. So Samsung Internet VR allows you to navigate the sea of internet contents in very intuitive and immersive way in VR. So it's the first VR browser that provided optimized VR web browsing experience for Gear VR. And it supports all types of immersive videos on the web, and it even recommends you to find the popular contents on the web. And also, importantly, it supports the industry standard WebVR. So WebVR, I think, is one of the easiest way to create the VR contents with just simple scripts. And it's industry standard, supported by many industry readers in many, many browsers now. So you can easily create the virtual reality website with WebVR so that you can view in any VR headset that has compatible VR browsers. So we've been supporting WebVR in Samsung Internet VR since April of last year. And also we hosted the first workshop on WebVR. So we are excited to see more and more contents coming to this WebVR ecosystem. And there are also WebVR demos and tutorials available here at SDC. So Samsung Phonecast VR is a very unique application. So if you're an Android app developer and still not ready to write your own VR application, you might be interested in Phonecast VR. So what it does is it mirrors any screen of the conventional Android 2D app into the big screen of the VR. So if you write a 2D Android app, you will be able to see it on the VR screen through the Phonecast VR. So we launched this product along with the S8. And we initially allowed select media apps to be used in the VR because a lot of people wanted to use their favorite OTT apps, for example. And the response we got from the community was amazing. So we recently added what we call labs features, that with this experimental feature, you can add any Android app and try it yourself in the Gear VR. So again, there's a string code one-on-one session and demos available here. So lastly, Gear VR framework. If you're a Java developer, you may be interested. So it provides lightweight, powerful open source rendering engine you can use for VR for a Java interface. So it's simple, powerful, and it's optimized for mobile. And it's platform independent, so you don't really need to know the underlying VR SDKs. And with predefined objects like web view, video, camera, you can really quickly start building your own VR app. So GVR session happens right after this session in this room. So if you're interested, you can just stay here. So I talked a lot about VR stuff today. And if you feel a bit lost, that's OK. At SDC, we have many more exciting sessions about VR. So we have Gear VR session, and we also have another session talking about the principles in UX design for VR, and also interesting panel discussion about the future of open metaverse world. And tomorrow, we also have very exciting panel by content creators, top minds in the content creators. And if you go to the open theater session, there are more. So Internet VR, Gear 360 SDK, and use of Gear VR in medical area. And also, we have very interesting discussion from the top partners for Samsung VR, talking about various perspectives on 360 content creation. So Stream the Code 101 demo booth. So there are a lot of opportunities you can learn about VR here, and also speak to us about various VR discussions you might have. And lastly, tomorrow evening, we have a very exciting event for the VR folks. So we are inviting a lot of content creators, and we even show the world's first premiere of several 360 contents in this interesting event. So if you want to network with VR people with some entertainment, and also meet Samsung's VR team, come join us at the tomorrow 6:30 p.m. event. So a lot of talks about the VR, but I couldn't cover all the VR that's happening right now. So I think we can discuss more at this SDC, and I hope you enjoy your SDC here. So that's it for my talk, and thanks for listening.